Hey Melissa, Christina here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. I am missing you and I'm missing all of my peeps and I'm missing the gym, but hopefully we'll be back together soon. So with that being said, I am coming at you live from my little condo gym, which thank goodness is not closed at this point, but no one uses it. As you can see, there's no one else in here, thank goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you our workout. So because of a lack of a treadmill or things like that, I'm gonna give you a little cardio warm up to start with. Just something to warm up your body, warm up dynamically the different planes of motion, but then get your heart rate up and ready for the actual workout. So I'll give you those moves first, and then I'll go into kind of each movement that we're going to do for the circuit style. The only thing that I do not have accessible to me is that circular band or the long band that you have. So I'm gonna explain that part that you're gonna be doing with the circular band tube as best I can. And then I'll send you over with every movement how many reps, sets, and with the sets, I would say try to get through 2 to 3 rounds if you could today. So I'll go ahead and get started with the cardio warm up. So I have my little pad of paper here. First thing that we're gonna do is just 45 seconds of marching jacks. So of course do this on your phone, time it on your watch, doesn't matter. This is basically just like a regular jumping jack, but it's low impact. So basically we're starting with our knees coming up as high as you can, nice flat feet, bringing your arms up overhead. Doing this for 45 seconds. The higher you can get your knees in this movement, the better, right? Working those arms, warming them up too. So we'll go ahead and do that one for 45 seconds. The next one I have here is an oblique movement. So you're taking your elbow on one side and you're reaching it towards your opposite knee. So starting up here, arms up tall, meeting in the middle, and then extending outwards. Meeting in that middle of the body and extending outwards. So we're here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that side. Go ahead and do this just for about 20 to 22 seconds. However you wanna split up that 45 seconds, and then taking it to the other side. A little bit of a core warm up as well here, as well to get your heart rate up, all right? So our last movement here for our warm up is gonna be lateral leg lifts, but you're gonna be reaching with that opposite hand. So this is gonna warm up the glutes, the outside of the legs. Pretty much all you're doing is alternating leg up side to side, but you're gonna include a reach to the opposite side. So balancing out that body, reaching those arms upwards, right? Again, heart rate's up. Make sure you have a nice flat foot, making sure that you're feeling that squeeze within the glutes. So you're gonna hit those for 45 seconds, go through it twice. That will end up being, 5-6 minutes of a warm up, depending upon how much time you take in between the 2 rounds, all right? So once you are done there, I'm gonna have you take and start out with your tubing ring. So I think it was a red, smaller circular one. I'm gonna have you actually put that here around your ankles, just making sure that, it's kind of like the bands that we use at the gym. Having it around here, we're gonna start with our lateral steps with our squats. Now, to add another element to this, I'm gonna have you grab your 8-pound dumbbell. This one's 10, but as close as I could get. I'm gonna have you hold it goblet style here in front of your chest. We're gonna have that circle around our ankles, and we're gonna start out in one direction. I'll go ahead and start here. Coming out as far as you can, squatting down, holding this weight here, and then coming back in a little bit. Making sure you're not coming in too close so that ring collapses. You still have a little bit of tightness within that ring. So again, I'm coming over again, squatting down, holding this weight, keeping that chest up, back to neutral. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do 15 of these to one side. Once we hit that 15, come over to the other side. So 30 total, and again, if you don't have a space long enough to do 15 in a row, You could always go back and forth for 5 or 10, just making sure that you get 30 in of those total. They'll really start to burn at the end. Making sure that you're focusing on squeezing the glutes, having a nice flat foot, and make sure you're stepping out with more of the heel. If you step out here and your steps are like this with the toe pointed forward, you're not going to feel it as much in the glutes or the hamstrings. So think heel first. Keeping those feet decently straight in front of me, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take that circular band, and again, I'm just using my imaginary one, and we're going to do a wall sit. So grab a wall, so pretend this is my wall. I'm setting up in a wall sit. We're going to take that circular band and we're going to pull it apart. Pull it apart, really focusing on squeezing those shoulder blades apart when we pull them, holding it for a second in its greatest range of motion and coming back. So again, working that back a little bit, working the shoulders, but then working those quadriceps as well when we're in that wall sit. So we're going to hold that wall sit as long as it takes for us to do 20 of those pull aparts with the band. Nice, slow, and controlled, all right? Making sure it's nice and tight, squeezing the shoulder blades in the back when we have that band at its greatest range of motion, all right? So then you'll come out of that wall sit and you're going to take 2 of your 8-pound dumbbells, all right? We're going to go ahead and start with a deadlift movement, but from the deadlift movement, we're going to go into a shoulder press. These are similar to a thruster movement, of course, but instead of doing a squat, you're going to be doing a deadlift. So form is everything on this. So I'll go ahead and just show you really quickly. You're going to start with those dumbbells in front of you. This is going to bring your heart rate up a little bit more. So what we're going to do is make sure we're sticking the butt out, lining the perimeter of the body with the weights. We're coming down, we're coming back up. We're coming down, and then on the second one, we come up, we stand, and then we press upwards overhead, all right? So think about 2 deadlift reps, 1, 2, and then into that shoulder press. Making sure that we fully get that rep in, all right? Fully get that rep in and stand up before we circle those weights around and bring them up overhead. All right, I'll go ahead and just do one from the front. Yes. Making sure we're not rounding that back, and then we're coming back up, and then into that shoulder press, all right? And then back into it. So 2 deadlifts for every 1 shoulder press. And so we're gonna go ahead and do 8 of those reps total. So think about, okay, 2 deadlifts and 1 shoulder press is 1 rep, all right? So 8 of those complete ones total. Heart rate will stay up after that, making sure you can squeeze the glutes and feel that in our hamstrings with the deadlift movement, and you're not feeling it in your lower back, okay? So next, we are going to be doing lunges to side raises. You can pretty much see that with every movement. I'm doing upper body and lower body components, so you're kind of getting a full body workout in this. So we're gonna start with our 5s. We're gonna get our lower weight on this one, and we're gonna do a lunge position. So split stance here, making sure that you have enough room between that back leg and the front leg here so you can get a pretty good 90-degree angle. But notice that I'm coming straight down to my hips. If I lean over, my knee is automatically in front of my toes, which we don't want, just to make sure we're saving that knee joint. All right, so split stance, we're gonna come down, and then when we rise up, we're going lateral raise. Come down, rise up, lateral raise. So getting the medial portion of that shoulder, but then also really working those quads as well, all right? So on this, we're gonna go ahead and do 10 of these. And once you finish those 10, we're just gonna flip right into the other side, all right? So setting up like so, coming straight down in the hips. I'm up on that back toe. Coming up with these lateral raises. I don't know if you can see in the video, but I'm just coming up to shoulder height, all right? I'm not going too extremely high with the range of motion with that lateral raise. Okay, so the next thing here is going to be bent over flies. So this one you'll feel in the back of your legs a little bit, but it's mostly for your back, right? And posterior delt. We're gonna grab those 8s. We're gonna set up almost like we're doing a deadlift. So making sure here Weight is in the back of my heels, butt sticking out. I'm starting with my palms facing. I'm bringing those weights up, basically to where my palms are facing down towards the ground when I get to the top of that range of motion. Again, I'm stopping here, not much higher than my shoulder. All right, I'm not trying to come all the way here, and I'm keeping a very slight bend in that elbow, not going completely straight, right? Make sure you're protecting that rotator cuff, slight bend in those elbows, those palms, they in facing down, and then come back to neutral position. And making sure here that you're not letting that lower back relax. So we're not here, sticking the bottom out, protecting that lower back, feeling that movement in more of the hamstrings whenever we're set up this way, okay? So on that one, we're gonna use our 8-pounders, and we're gonna go ahead and do 15 reps of that, and then we are gonna finish with a lower back exercise, but also some core. So we're gonna set up, don't hate me for these, you'll definitely feel them tomorrow because I always feel them. We're gonna be doing what I call Superman. I think we've done these, but it's been maybe a little bit of time since we've done them. We're gonna do 10 dynamic Supermans into elbow to knee crunches, okay? So we're gonna start out on the ground. Now, hopefully you have a mat, not a nasty carpet that you're using, but we're gonna go ahead and come all the way down to the stomach. For 10 dynamic reps, we're going to lift the heels and lift the arms as much as we can, and it helps to squeeze the glutes while we're doing this. So think about coming up for 1, back down, 2, holding at the top, back down. Hold at the top for just about 1 to 2 seconds, really squeezing those glutes. Good. Again, I am bringing my arms up and my heels back as far as I can on these. Really working that range of motion. This one you actually will feel in your lower back, but that's actually a good thing because it's going to be strengthening the erector spinae, which is, you know, the muscles that support the spine. So you'll feel it there. If you're squeezing your glutes, you'll also be feeling it in your glutes. So don't worry with that. So we're gonna do 10 of those, and then we're gonna go right into flipping right over and doing some full body crunches. So we're gonna start with our body extended here, and then we're gonna come in, reach for the knees, and extend back outwards. And notice that my heels are up off the ground when I come back, right? So I'm here, hugging my body, extend. Grabbing that body, making like a little dead bug position, and extend. All right, trying to keep those heels elevated when I bring those legs back out to starting position. All right? And so that one, of course, is gonna be all core for the most part. And so, Melissa, pretty much full body workout. I would say, you know, if this is your first day doing it, depending on how you feel, you know, maybe try it twice, maybe even just try it 1 time to get the feel for it. But, you know, if you do this throughout the week, I would just recommend, of course, you know, making sure you have a down day in between, making sure you let those muscles kind of relax for, you know, a day on, and then the next day you could do it again if you felt up to it. But I mean, if you do this, you know, 3 times, and if you have that cardio warm up, you're gonna feel like, you know, a pretty good burn, or at least I hope, right? So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was confusing. I hope to see you soon. I miss you, and hope the dogs are well, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.